Quite a bit of seaweed on the beach today. It's not really conducive to walking. So I guess I'll be doing my video right here. Hey, good morning everybody. Thank you for joining me for a stand on the beach. I don't think I'll be walking too much. It's really tough when there's this much seaweed. It's kind of yicky feeling, sandy and wet and stuff. So anyway, I will be coming to you from right here. Every now and then I'll turn the camera around so you can see the water. So today what I think I want to talk about is our propensity for finger pointing. I know for me, that's the way I used to be, and I still suffer from it sometimes. You know, there are times when I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about other people, you know? I want to say, yeah, but what about them? Why is it always got to be about me and what I need to change about me? Because I don't know why that is. One of the things that I learned while doing that personal inventory was that I'm better at taking other people's inventory than I am at taking my own inventory. And I think that is a coping mechanism, if you will, so that we don't have to look at ourselves. Because it's not always a comfortable thing to look at ourselves, right? I've always had problems, you know, we all do. There's always been problems, and I always found a way to place the blame on someone else. The problems I'm experiencing is because of those people, or that guy, or that girl, or this organization, or whatever. If they would change, I would be fine. And though there may be some truth in that, it's an unhealthy way to look at things, that's for sure. Because I can't change that organization or these people over here or that girl or that guy. I can't change those. The only thing that I can change is me. And personally, I need help with that. Anyway, that's what this video is about. It's about looking inward rather than pointing fingers and finding blame in others. Now that self-evaluation, that self-assessment, to me that's what recovery is all about. It's looking inward for those changes that need to take place within me. And that's not near as easy to see as it is in seeing it in other people, you got to admit. Like I say, the propensity that I have is to point fingers at others. So it's a battle that I don't always win, you know. But like for example, I was in a meeting the other day, and the topic was gossip. Well, gossip is one way of taking the heat off of me and putting it on someone else. You know, the things that people gossip about, 9 times out of 10, they're guilty of it themselves. If they were to look inward, if they were to self-evaluate rather than evaluating people around them all the time, maybe they might be able to get some sort of progress out of that. Because there's no progress in pointing fingers at other people. It's just, you know, it's just not going to accomplish anything. And so in recovery, I began to learn, in early recovery, I began to learn how to look inward and take responsibility for myself rather than always placing it on someone else, you know? Well, if they would just act right, everything would be fine. You know, that's kind of one of those things that we all face, I guess. I think one of my biggest problems in life is that other people don't act right. But how do you get them to act right? Well, you know, I have found that when I change myself, when I change, it tends to change the people around me. Let me explain. For example, I think I've shared this with you guys, but a lot of times it seemed like always, there was some sort of illegal activity that went along with it, whether it was drugs or just doing something wrong at all times. And so I was constantly in trouble with the law. When I got sober, I had all kinds of legal issues that I had to clear up, and it took some time, man. I mean, time. So anyway, I got sober back in 2008, February of 2008. And since then, I have had no contact with law enforcement whatsoever. None. Zero contact with law enforcement. They were my biggest enemy. If the cops would just leave me alone, everything would be fine. Everything's fine. They've left me alone. Now, did I change them? No. What I did was I changed myself. I changed me. I changed my behavior. And that changed the way that they behave toward me. Make sense? And I have found that holds true in a lot of cases, not just legal issues, okay? When I change the way that I do things, it changes the way other people do their things sometimes too. For example, another example would be, somebody that just seems nasty all the time. They're always nasty to you. I know a couple of those. I don't know why. They're just always in a bad mood and never has anything nice to say. I find that when I kill them with kindness, they don't have much of a choice, It's like they've got to change, because that even makes them look even more nasty, Oh, what a pretty shirt you've got. Did you get a haircut? It looks awesome. And they want to be nasty, but how do you be nasty when somebody says things like that to you? Anyway, and this isn't about changing others. It's kind of a benefit of changing ourselves, I guess. This is not about looking at the behavior of other people. No, recovery isn't that at all. Recovery is looking at my behavior, taking responsibility for my actions, taking responsibility for my life and my recovery. If you've ever had a job where you do like an annual or semi-annual evaluation, you're hoping for a raise, and they're evaluating your performance. I'm sure that they don't lose any sleep over doing that evaluation of you. But if you were to do a self-evaluation, stop blaming the guy in the cubicle next to you, or whatever. Stop blaming your fellow employees or your boss or the product or whatever it is. Stop blaming others and other things and do a self-evaluation. Where can I improve? What can I begin doing or stop doing that is preventing me from succeeding? In recovery, you don't have far to look, because we're always looking inward. That's what it's about. But I find that it always seems to come back. And that's why I said in the beginning, it's a bit of a battle. It always wants to come back. There's a part of me that says, wait a minute. It's not me, it's them. I'm doing the right thing. They're the ones that are in the wrong, right? I mean, isn't that possible? Sure, it's possible. It's extremely possible. But let me ask you a question. What good is that doing you? Is it making you feel superior to them because you're in the right and they're in the wrong? What's the payoff? there really isn't a payoff. Looking inward is where the answers lie, because those are the areas that we can do something about, even if it's just changing our attitude, you know, because attitude has a lot to do with our lives. With attitude, I immediately think of a word that rhymes with it, and that's gratitude. An attitude of gratitude. That can change me big time. An attitude of gratitude can change how I view the world around me. And it can also change the way people around you behave. So even though this video is not about changing others, I think it's interesting that by changing me, other people tend to change as well. So I hope you guys have a great day. Hey, stay out of the seaweed. I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.